Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Jayam Narottam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Didya Nashtaprayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttam Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naistike. So continuing with the discussion on Srimad Bhagavad Gita as it is, chapter 9, the most confidential knowledge, text 19 onwards. So previous two verses, Krishna is now talking about himself, who he is. First, 17th verse, I am the father of this universe, the mother, the support, and the grandsire. I am the object of knowledge, the purifier, and the syllable Om. I'm also the rig, the psalm, and the Yajurvedas. And then I am the goal, the sustainer, the master, the witness, the abode, the refuge, and the most dear friend. I am the creation and the annihilation, the basis of everything, the resting place and the eternal seat. Clearly, Krishna himself is describing that he is the Supreme Lord. I'm the goal, the sustainer, the master, the witness, everything is him. Not just of course, he comes and performs his pastimes, but if we think he's just a little cowherd boy stealing butter and this or that, that's his pastimes. But his position is this. Now, text 90. Tapami aham varsham nigrihami utsrijami cha amritam chaiva mrityuscha sat chaham arjuna. O Arjun, I give heat and I withhold and send forth the rain. I am immortality, and I am also death personified. Both spirit and matter are in me. Krishna personally, he says, I give heat. So it's not like personally he's going to sit down and give heat. He has so many energies to work for him. Krishna, by his different energies, diffuses heat and light throughout the agency of electricity and the sun. During summer season, it is Krishna who checks rain from falling from the sky. And then during the rainy season, he gives unceasing torrents of rain. The energy which sustains us by prolonging the duration of our life is Krishna. And Krishna meets us at the end as death. By analyzing all these different energies of Krishna, one can ascertain that for Krishna, there is no distinction between matter and spirit. Or in other words, he's both matter and spirit. In the advanced stage of Krishna consciousness, one therefore makes no such distinctions. He sees only Krishna in everything. Since Krishna is both matter and spirit, the gigantic universal form comprising all material manifestations is also Krishna. And his pastimes in Vrindavan as two-handed Shamsans playing on a flute are those of the Supreme Personality of God. See, so, and further, this is 9th chapter, 11th chapter, Arjuna, or even 10th chapter, Krishna describes his opulences. 11th chapter is completely his opulence, where he shows his universal form to Arjuna. This is for us to understand. He is a Supreme Lord. And if we surrender, finally he says, just surrender unto me. If we surrender unto him, we're not going to be a loser. We're not a loser. Definitely not. And whatever he says, he provides. He makes sure his devotee gets it. Whether it is liberation or whether it is any material benefits, he can provide it. So when he says, I give heat and I withhold and send forth the rain. So rain, scientists say it comes because of trees. No, it doesn't come because of trees. Because rain also falls where there are no trees, just like in an ocean. It's Krishna who sends forth the rain. And in third chapter, he says, um, because of yagyas, the rain is produced. So yagya is what? Yagya is to please Krishna. Yagya is to satisfy Krishna or Vishnu. So when he is satisfied, he sends forth the rain. And yagya is whatever he wants us to do. You're not just whatever we want to do, that is yagya. No. So that is why in this day and age, Kali Yuga, it's called Sankirtan Yagya. So this is sacrifice that he is expecting us to do in Kali Yuga. And if we do that, of course, we don't perform Yagya that he should send us the rain. We perform a Yagya for his satisfaction, and then whatever he wants, he can do. That is bhakti. Travidya mam soma paha puta papa yagya rishtva swargatim prarthayante te punyam asadya surendra lokam ashnanti divyan divi deva bhogam. Those who study the Vedas and drink the Som juice, seeking the heavenly planets, worship me indirectly. Purified of sinful reactions, they take birth on the pious heavenly planet of Indra, where they enjoy godly delights. So they're worshipping me indirectly by doing all this karma kanda activities. The word Trai Vidya refers to three Vedas, Sam, Yajur, and Rig. A Brahman who has studied these three Vedas is called a Trivedi. Anyone who is very much attached to knowledge derived from these three Vedas is respected in society. Knowledge, yes, it's still respected. Unfortunately, there are many scholars of the Vedas who do not know the ultimate purport of studying them. Therefore, Krishna herein declares himself to be the ultimate goal for the three Vedas. So, ultimate goal, even in 15th chapter, he says, by all the Vedas, I am to be known. But it's not just knowing him. Devotees go further. They serve him. Serve him with love and devotion. So in that way, Vaishnavas, they're already Brahmins. They already are three Vedas. Whether they know particular shloka of Veda or not, that's different. But they know the purport of Vedas. That's what Prabhupada says. Actual three Vedas take shelter under the lotus feet of Krishna and engage in pure devotional service to satisfy the Lord. Devotional service begins with the chanting of the Hare Krishna mantra and side by side, trying to understand Krishna in truth. Unfortunately, those who are simply official students of the Vedas become more interested in offering sacrifices to the different demigods like Indra and Chandra. By such endeavor, the worshippers of different demigods are certainly purified of the contamination of the lower qualities of nature and are thereby elevated to the higher planetary systems or higher planets known as Maharloka, Janaloka, Tapaloka, etc. So by study of Vedas, these are the activities in the mode of goodness. And also studying and following Vedic injunctions, one sustains himself or remains in the mode of goodness. Mode of passion and ignorance, they take us down. Krishna himself says, Urdham gachanti sattvasto. Means a person in Sattvagun, he goes to higher planets or to better species of life. Means even in human beings, now there are human beings who are in mode of goodness, always, or most of the time. So that is by the cultivation of knowledge, the Vedic scriptures, and doing those yagyas for pleasing the demigods. So at least that is better than not doing anything. So they purify themselves of contaminations of the lower qualities of nature, and are thereby elevated to higher planetary systems. Once situated on those higher planetary systems, one can satisfy his senses hundreds of thousands of times better than on this planet. But the problem is this. Even after going to Swargalok or Janalok, Tapalok, Maharlok, if one is still engaged in satisfying his senses, then it's actually a wastage of time. What's the point? Even if we satisfy trillion times better than on Earth, but it's still satisfying these senses, not purifying the consciousness of the soul. That's why Krishna, of course, here he is talking about this, but he never recommends it. One should do that. Because once we are there in heavenly planets, and we enjoy our senses to the fullest extent, to whatever, highest extent. Fullest is in Golok Vrindavan. Then what? Krishna says in next verse, Tetam bhuktva sargalokam vishalam kshine punne bhartelokam vishanti evam trai dharma mano prapanna gata gatam kam kama labhante. When they have thus enjoyed vast heavenly sense pleasure and the results of their pious activities are exhausted, they return to this mortal planet again. Thus, those who seek sense enjoyment by adhering to the principles of the three Vedas achieve only repeated birth and death. So, in reality, it's just wastage of time. One who is promoted to the higher planetary systems enjoys a longer duration of life and better facilities for sense enjoyment. Yet one is not allowed to stay there forever. It's a material planet. One is again sent back to this earth upon finishing the resultant fruits of pious activities. He who has not attained perfection of knowledge, as indicated in the Vedanta Sutra, or in other words, he who fails to understand Krishna, the cause of all causes, becomes baffled about achieving the ultimate goal of life, and is thus subjected to the routine of being promoted to the higher planets and then coming down again, as if situated on a Ferris wheel, which sometimes goes up and sometimes comes down. And this is what we have been doing, not understanding the purport of the Vedas and working on it. I'm sure we might have been to heavenly planets and all these lokas before, and then come down again, and then go down to Yamaloka and Pataloka and all those planets to get punished, and then come back up again. So it's just going up and down, up and down. And obviously in heavenly planets, so much is described in the Vedic literature. How one can enjoy what all the facilities so there. First of all, one doesn't get old. One old in the sense this wrinkly or diseased body. Old, yes, age-wise one gets old, but the body doesn't get deteriorated. One doesn't smell bad. One always has this, because the whole attraction of going to heaven is to have a relationship with the apsaras there. So one will always have that kind of tendency and the strength. And the food is very good. It's not food here. And and the palaces and the gardens are beautiful, wonderful. You can enjoy for long life. And of course, over there it's 100 years, but when it is calculated with respect to earthly years, it's about 10,000 years minimum. If higher we go, longer it will be. But then, if somebody has intelligence, he'll think, even if I go there, if I have to come back here again and take birth on earth again and start all over, what's the point? It's just like in India, um, those in government jobs, they used to get this TADA to travel anywhere once a year. So, but once if the TADA amount is finished, you had get to come back to the work and report to the work. So, same here. Once the pious activities, resultant, kshirne punya, once those bank balance is over, you got to come back. And the coming back is very painful. I had explained the soul with his tears merging with the raindrops, he falls on earth. His tears, why his tears? Because he's ordered to get out from heaven. He's enjoying, but he's ordered, get out, your time is up. And then outside the heaven, there are demons. They see one soul or one person coming out, then beat him up. So first he is already painful that his friends are still enjoying and he's out. And then secondly, these demons, they beat him. So he cries. So with the tears mixed with the drops of rain, then he falls. And uh, then the soul goes into the plants. Then whoever eats the plants, and that whoever is also not just by chance, everything is controlled. So depending upon his desires and other karmas, then if the animal eats the plant, then he gets the animal body, because body is, we get the body according to the soul takes shelter of the sperm of the male and goes into the female egg and then merges and then becomes a body. So if the animal eats that plant, we get that animal body. If the bird eats that plant, we get the bird body. If human being eats the plant, we get the human body. It is all controlled. What body we are gonna get according to our karmas. So how painful for that soul. Soul still sees what is happening. Now, in whatever body he is in, then according to the body, he has to act because of the consciousness is given according to the body, or the pure consciousness is covered over by the new consciousness. Now he got contaminated consciousness. Then when he gets a dog's body, he acts like a dog. He could have been in the heaven before, but now he has to act like a dog. And then further, when he dies, then whatever birth he gets, it is painful, but at the same time, those who understand this, they say, why I have to go through all this again and again and again? Why should I? And another problem with going to heaven now at this time. Suppose somebody says, fine, I'll still go to heaven, and when I come back, I can do bhakti. There's a problem. So big, as I said, minimum lifespan over there is, according to Earth, 10,000 years. So if we now go to heaven, And then after enjoying our life on heaven, so-called enjoyment, now we come back to earth. The problem is next 10,000 years, or when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appeared 500 years ago, so he blessed next 10,000 years that anybody or people will take up devotion service, the process of this chanting of Hare Krishna Mahamantra, and then they are eligible to go back. Well, after 10,000 years, the real Kali Yuga will take effect, will be in progress. And that Kali Yuga we studied in 12th canto of Bhagavatam. It is scary. It is very, very scary. Of course, we are studying now, it feels scary, but we have been through these phases of Kali Yuga also. But now, after 10,000, no more Sankirtan, no more dhams will unmanifest. And so, what are we going to do then? So might as well finish our business here and go back to God, back to spiritual. Whether this lifetime, at least we should try our best in this lifetime. But if not, then at least next lifetime. That's it. Because this, whatever Krishna has designed, the system, that will keep on working. Go to heavenly planets, come back here. Go to hellish planets, come back up here, and then keep going. And go through different species of life. 84 lakh yoniya. And definitely in Kali Yuga, things are not going to get any better. They're going to get worse and worse. So further he says, Ananyas chintayanto mam ye jana paripasate tesham nityabhyuktanam yogakshemam vahamyaham. So LIC people, they stole this yogakshemam vahamyaham from here, this shloka of Bhagavad Gita. But those who always worship me with exclusive devotion, meditating on my transcendental, to them I carry what they lack and I preserve what they have. And this is the beauty that Krishna is saying, Yoga Kshemam Vahami Aham. Aham means I do it. Personally, I do it. This is the beauty. For who? Those who worship me with exclusive devotion. The time one can spend in doing this Karam Kandi Yagyas, studying of Vedas, finding out what Yagya one has to do, that could be lots of time one has to spend. But Bhakti, so simple, so easy. Just chanting, and this pleases the Lord. But this is what Krishna says, those who always worship me with exclusive devotion, meditating on my transcendental form. So meditation also, Hatha Yoga is not on some light or anything else, on his transcendental form. And Krishna says, to them I carry what they lack, and I preserve what they have. One who is unable to live for a moment without Krishna consciousness cannot but think of Krishna 24 hours a day, being engaged in devotion service by hearing, chanting, remembering, offering prayers, worshipping, servicing the Lord's lotus feet, rendering other services, cultivating friendship, and surrendering fully to the Lord. So this is bhakti, Navda bhakti. So one can do all, one can do one part of it, two, three, or all of them. And the thing is, they're beautiful. They give one so much of bliss. Such activities are all auspicious and full of spiritual potencies, which make the devotee perfect in self-realization, so that his only desire is to achieve the association of the Supreme Personality of God. And when Krishna says, meditating on my form, it's not like we have to sit down and meditate. Anything we are doing, we can remember the form of the Lord. Or just like, um, for example, cooking for Krishna. So cooking for Krishna doesn't start when he's really physically cooking. It starts with when we go and buy the groceries. When you're meditating, okay, I'll prepare this for Krishna. I'll make this. I'll let me buy this. I'll do this for Krishna. So meditation is there. Or we are just driving and maybe chanting the names of the Lord. So otherwise, the meditation one has to sit down and Krishna had explained in sixth chapter the conditions of meditation. But here, if driving, chanting the names of the Lord, working on computer, we can listen to the bhajan kirtan. That's bhakti. So this meditation of remembering can happen anytime, anywhere. Such activities are all auspicious. So such a devotee undoubtedly approaches the Lord without difficulty. This is called yoga. Yoga means linking with the Lord or approaching the Lord. By the mercy of the Lord, such a devotee never comes back to this material condition of life. Never comes back. Kshema refers to the merciful protection of the Lord. The Lord helps the devotee to achieve Krishna consciousness by yoga. And when he becomes fully Krishna conscious, the Lord protects him from falling down to a miserable, conditioned life. See, this is also a huge difference between devotional life or devotional service, bhakti yoga, and other forms of yoga. Other forms, Krishna never says, I help them. Never said, yoga kshemam vahamyam. You make progress on your own. But for my devotees, he says, I help them. I carry what they lack and I protect what they have. And he does it personally. That is even more sweet, more beautiful. Just like story of, there's a pastime in the life of Jayadev Goswami. So Jayadev Goswami, wonderful, very advanced devotee of the Lord. And he wrote so much of literature glorifying the Lord and bhakti. So once he was writing, and one shloka he wrote, because this shloka is not something he has read in any scripture, this is his realizations, his writing. And this was a shloka, this Bhagavad Gita shloka. He was just writing in his own way. And he wrote it, then he scratched it off. He said, no, this cannot be true. This is not true. Why he has to do it himself? He has so many of energy, so many of his people who can do it. Why he has to do it? So he was reading this Bhagavad Gita and he just scratched it. And then he wasn't satisfied. So it was midday. So he told his wife that he will go take bath in the Ganges and then come back and have lunch. So fine, he left. And after a while, his wife heard the knock on the door. Actually, there are two stories. I'm sorry, I'm mixing them up. Okay. So this story. So his wife heard the knock on the door, and it was Jayadeva Goswami. Yes, I'm mixing. So this is about there's a devotee Arjunacharya. Arjunacharya was writing commentary on Gita, and he scratched this verse. And he went to the river to take bath. His wife was preparing. So she heard the knock on the door. She opened the door, and two boys were there. And they looked very beautiful boys, but they were crying. She said, "What happened to you? Why are you crying? Who are you? Who sent you?" They said, "Oh, your husband met us in the market, and he beat us up with a stick, and he told us to take these items like dal and rice and to take them to you." She said, "My husband beat you? This is never heard of. Why are you saying something like that?" They said, "Yeah, yeah, yeah, he beat us up," and they showed marks on their back. It was really beaten up. She said, I can't believe my husband did this. But they were so beautiful. She got charmed by the beauty and she just took whatever items were there. And the boys left. So when Arjuna Acharya came back, he asked for the wife for the lunch. And but he saw his wife had already eaten lunch. Arjuna Acharya said, what are you doing? Oh, how come you ate before me? Never happened that. The wife said, "If you can forget your dharma, why should I carry on with my dharma?" Acharya said, what dharma did I forget? I just went to take bath and coming back. What dharma did I forget? She said, "You're a Brahmin, you're an Acharya. How did you beat up such beautiful two little boys?" And oh, what little boys? I didn't beat up any. How can I beat up any little boys? Then she explained that two little boys had come and they showed that you had beaten them up, and they came with all the all the grains, everything. He asked, "What did they look like?" Oh, one was blackish, one was whitish boy, and they were beautiful, but they were crying. And then Arjunacharya understood it was Krishna Balram who had come personally. And then he went and looked at the shloka and the scratches that he made. They were gone. And those were scratches, they appeared on Krishna Balram's back. So then he understood. And then he took his wife's remnants of prasadam. He said, "You took darshan of Krishna Balram personally. I should take your prasadam." So Krishna Balram had come personally to give these items to Arjuna Acharya's house. So Krishna, when he says, "I carry what they lack and I preserve what they have," he does that. He personally does that. This is his love for his devotees. All he's expecting us is just perform devotional service. That's all. Of course, we don't want we don't want to make Krishna as our servant. That's not the purpose. But this is his love for his devotees. And he does that. He protects his devotees all the time. It doesn't mean that if we have an accident, he's not going to protect our body, or he's going to protect our body. Not necessarily. Anything can happen, but what he protects is our devotion. And he can protect the body also. Not a big deal for him. He has done that. Like he appeared as Narasimha there to protect Lal. He could have sent any of his energies to kill Hiranyakashipu. What was the big deal for him? But he came personally. And about Jayadev Goswami's pastime. So when he wasn't looking at this, he wrote a shlok. Devi Pad Palvam Udharam means he is saying that Krishna is saying in this shloka that, oh, Radharani, I take your lotus feet and put them on my head. And then Jayadeva Goswami was, no, 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 Krishna is a supreme personality. How you can take lotus feet of Radharani and put them on his head? So he did not write further shloka. The shloka wasn't complete. So he got confused. So he also went to take bath. Again, there was knock on the door, and it was Jayadeva Goswami. I said, you just went. How come you came back so early? He said, well, I thought of completing that shloka that I was writing. So let me go and write that shloka. Now you prepare lunch. So she gave him lunch and he completed the shloka. He had lunch and then he left. And his wife was now having lunch because her husband had eaten and she was eating that prasadam. Well, not prasadam, Jayadeva Goswami's friends. And then again there was knock on the door. She opened the door. Jayadeva Goswami was standing. And she got surprised. Oh, what is this happening? You came, you left, and now you are again back. Oh, what is this going on? Jayadeva Goswami, what are you talking about? I went to take bath, now I'm coming back to have lunch. The wife said, you already had lunch. I served you lunch. And I was eating now. Jayadeva Goswami, well, you don't joke, but this doesn't sound like something, what is a reality. So she said, you came back, you said you haven't finished that shloka that you were writing, and then you wanted me to serve you lunch. Jayadeva Goswami ran to his room, and that shloka was complete. Krishna himself had come as Jayadeva Goswami to complete that shloka. Yes, I take Radharani's lotus feet on my head. So this is what Krishna is, and this is what Bhakti does. Srila Prabhupada, this we can say, oh, these are some other ages, maybe this thing happened. Not too long ago, Jayadeva Goswami didn't appear too long ago. But Srila Prabhupada, he told in interviews, he told his disciples that these purports, I did not write these purports. Krishna dictated to me. And I just wrote down. Once, I believe it was Kirtan Maharaj, who said in an interview, Prabhupada said, Krishna dictated me. Kirtan Maharaj said, well, what Swamiji means is to say is Krishna inspired him. Prabhupada corrected him right away. No, Krishna dictated me these words, and I wrote down. Or I spoke in dictaphone, and then you guys wrote that down. So this is how Krishna loves his devotees, and he's ready to do anything for his devotees. Even Arjun, when in the battlefield, we have all heard the story of Khatu Shyam, right? So Khatu Shyam, forgetting his other name, Barbarik. So he came to the battle. He heard this big battle is going on, and he had only 2 arrows in his quiver. So he came, and when he was coming, Krishna and Pandavas, Krishna knew who is he, what he can do. So even before the battlefield, Krishna met him, and he paid respects. And he said, Krishna has, why only 2 arrows? It's a big battle. It's a big war. Oh, he said, I just need 2 arrows. That's it. Only 1 arrow I can finish off the war. So Krishna asked, what do you mean? So he said, I'm going to fight on the side which is losing. And with 1 arrow, I can kill the other army. That's it. Krishna said, okay, can you shoot your arrow, one of your arrows in this tree and make that all the peers through all the leaves and come back to your quiver? He said, yeah, easy. So he shot the arrow and it went through all the leaves, pierced them, and came back to his quiver. Krishna said, no, I didn't fulfill the challenge because I took one leaf and put it under my feet. Barbaric said, please look at that leaf. And even that leaf had a hole in it. So that's how powerful Barbaric was. uh, but then Krishna understood because Kauravas are going to lose, and if he fights on the side of Kauravas, then there's going to be problem. There's going to be problem. So somehow the Barbaric accepted Krishna as his guru. I don't know what conversation happened. I don't know that detail. So Krishna, and then he asked, okay, and then Krishna asked, okay, give me some Guru Dakshin. Give what Guru Dakshina you want. Krishna said, give me your head, cut off your head and give me to me. So Barbaric had to do that. But Barbaric said, at least fulfill one of my desires. I want to see this battle, this war. So Krishna said, okay, you will cut off your head and your head will be on this particular tree, whatever tree, and you can see the whole war. So Barbaric head was there. That's why we see when we Khatu, it's only one head is there, not the body. So after the war, Krishna and Pandavas, they came to the tree where Barbaric head was there. And Krishna asked him, what did you see? Barbaric said, I saw that Arjun was shooting the arrows, but it was your Sudarshan Chakra who was going before the arrow and killing all the enemies. Arjun wasn't killing. His arrows did not kill. So Krishna said, yes, you saw the whole thing. So even for Arjun, Krishna was there for him to win the war. So Krishna is always there, always. This is a guarantee by Krishna. And later on, Krishna says through Arjun, tells Arjun, you say that my devotee never perishes. Because Krishna says, sometimes I do things which people cannot understand. Although I protect my devotees, but sometimes I don't follow my own words. But if my devotee says, then I have to keep his words. I have to keep his promises. Because in the battle of Mahabharata only, Krishna had promised, I'll never pick up a weapon. But Bhishma Dev, who's a devotee, and Arjuna is a devotee, Bhishma Dev, if you don't pick up a weapon, I'll kill you. So Krishna had to pick up that wheel. So this is guaranteed that he will protect, he does protect, he will always protect his devotees. And here Krishna is himself saying, I carry what they lack and I preserve what they have. I do it personally. So big statement by Krishna for his devotees. This he clearly says, those who worship me with exclusive devotion, I do everything for them. So with this guarantee, with this assurance, all we have to do is serve him. Be a devotee, nicely do as much as we can, Sankirtan Yagya, and whatever services we can do for Krishna. That's the best thing to do. Okay, I guess I can stop here and see anybody has any questions or comments.
Very nice class, very nice.
Yeah, thank you, Prabhuji. Very nice story.
Thank you, Mata. Sorry, I got confused in two stories, but I remember.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Wonderful story, wonderful class. Prabhuji, I have a small question, stupid question rather. Prabhuji, जैसे अभी आपने बोला कि अपर प्लैनेट्स में से जब सोल्स को आना होता है, there is a system through, you know, through rain and all. लेकिन जो पाताल लोक से जो सोल्स आती हैं वापस पृथ्वी पर, वो क्या सिस्टम है उसको, वो कैसे आती
वो तो खुशी खुशी आती होंगी ना, मतलब कि सारी
है?
पनिशमेंट हो रही
कैसे
है ऊपर
मतलब?
निकल के।
नहीं
वो
नहीं।
तो रोते हुए नहीं आएंगी।
तो खुशी खुशी उसका
और
कोई
वही है
सिस्टम
ना,
है क्या?
तिहाड़ जेल से किसी कोई निकल के आए तो खुश होके तो आएगा।
तो मैंने शुरू में पूछा, थोड़ा स्टूपिड सा क्वेश्चन है।
तो that's what it is. Okay,
ओके, थैंक यू प्रभु जी।
चलो, थैंक यू माता, हरे कृष्ण, जय श्री प्रभु।
हरे कृष्णा, जय श्री प्रभु।